So, uh, today's video is just a quick rant on the concept of productivity. I'm sure you've heard the word be productive being thrown around a lot as a kind of buzzword, but it's also become a trigger word for those of us who are quite aware of history, of the onset of fascism, of how that word was, although being productive can be a great thing, and I certainly love to, when my life is falling apart, clean my room, take measures to get back up, get myself together, um, provide some sort of good in the world, even if it's like this. Making this video for me is considered productive, whether some crappy, useless, overly controlling authority consider it productive or not. This to me is just one of many forms of being productive. But we also know that's been used by some bad faith people, and when it's used by authority who have categorized you based on your race or neurodivergence or mental illness, well, that really strikes a chord, because that was one of the terms used in, kind of associated with term used back in Nazi Germany towards Jews, people taken to the camps, right? Like, if you've watched Schindler's List, I'm sure you've seen some of the horrific scenes there where, the factory workers, the little mechanics are there, and they're just kind of watching over them like a hawk, making them work faster and faster, and then finally they get shot up anyway. So, one of the biggest issues I've had being someone who is at the professional level and has been going through a career a career that includes a lot of academia, is a lot of, even if you're working a day and night, a lot of how you look productive is based on how much you have on your resume. And let me tell you the problem with that. One, it's freaking hard sometimes to find people who will allow you to work with them long enough to get a complete case report or a paper published. A lot of research projects and stuff like that are very experimental, and sometimes you're not able to get anything published out of that, and that's certainly happened to me. And then other times, you really want to write up some case reports, but the person you're working with is either super busy or is just giving you a hard time with getting any reports in. Or they're like, oh, this week is busy, let's do it next week, and then kind of keeps delaying and it never happens. And I've seen some people who have like an enormous amount of stuff published, which I'm like, how did you even find the time? And for one, they may be top of their class. That's great. but two, usually they have a lot of privilege and connections to the right people, and they're allowed to plan out their schedule kind of exactly in the way they want, with the exact people they want who will actually help them, whereas the rest of us, who are not as connected or privileged or whatever, just kind of have to go through school blindly and navigate our way. And then, if we do want to find any real sources of help, kind of have to seek it out on our own, especially in these times with like the whole crackdown on DEI and brown and Asian people, even if we grew up here and all of that. And sometimes it's just pure luck. Like I had my best friend was uh, in a kind of a similar situation to me. And they, like they said they were even lucky to get one in, and they tried a few also, and all of them just end up falling through, as far as like writing up case reports and stuff. So it the standards on that academic institutions are placing on us, though their standards and the way they help us is actually going down, especially now with all the bureaucratic and discriminatory nonsense going on under Trump's freaking orders and laws, and the laws passed by fascist whichever fascist simps are on the side of his team. Um, so their standards, as far as like how they're serving us, are getting lower. And yet we're expected to show up every day and be like enthusiastic and happy while we're paying our blood, sweat, tears, and money and getting very little in return. And then we're still told it's not good enough, that's not good enough. Be productive. Imagine you're already being productive, you're already doing everything you can. And then there's just this annoying, yapping fly in your face saying, be productive, do something productive. And it's like, that's what I'm trying to do already. And when you repeatedly say that, as I'm already doing it, while also trying to sabotage my progress and slow me down and not give me any proper help for whatever wonky situation I'm in, or anything concerning my health, or anything else like that, well, just sucking me dry. That is the most annoying thing in the world. So, just. And even worse is when they treat us like we're childish, because no matter how much work we do, they just won't take us seriously. Won't take us seriously. It doesn't matter what we give, it doesn't matter what we do. And then when we do ask around, well, now we're just being crazy lunatics, too much. It's like, well, I guess I better be the annoying bad guy then, because I have no other choice. Because these schools and institutions do everything, and increasingly so are doing everything, to just take our money and waste our time, while having the audacity to tell us to be more productive, or call us names, or call us unworthy or not good enough, while they're falling to shit. And we're having to carry all this extra weight, do so much on our own, and it's like, we're entitled. Talk about entitled authority. So, And, they're gonna reflect our argument, try to reflect the arguments we make back in the same way. And I used to fall for it. And now I have learned to see through it. It's complete gaslighting ish. So now I'm like, when I really want to argue, what I do instead is I act nice so that authority, at least some of them, feel a little bad. And then from there, they kind of start to be nicer to me. And then I'm like, oh, so, when people are being nicer to you and you can kind of tell they know they have fully screwed you up. So, yeah, it's, I don't know what suggestions I have for all the youths, especially the ones in situations like mine, except you kind of are on your own, buddy. I'm sorry. But I'm in the same boat also. And a lot of authority now are honestly just trying to survive under the heel of the crushing boot. Some of them know what's happening, they're upset, but they also need to keep their jobs and they have families and they have children. Whereas some of them are just more than happy to outright carry out bureaucratic violence and nonsense in a way that really just purposefully seems like it's there to trigger you and crush you and ruin you and discriminate against you and take away your rights. So I've also learned to navigate those two types of authority and which ones to trust and which ones to be like, no, you really are an industrial psychopath. And honestly, I don't think I'm being ridiculous to call you a fascist. So, yeah, it's just, an authority have constant meetings like this about the youth, constantly scrutinizing us over every single move, saying, I just don't think they're doing enough. They just don't take it as seriously. Even when we're doing more and more. And my point being, don't give them that inch or they'll ask for a foot. You hear me? And don't look for their approval. Do your thing, build yourself up, and then go to a place that'll look at what you have and is like, you know what, I want to help you. I don't care. I want to help you. I want to give you this offer. I want to give you this job. I see that you're a hard worker. Look for a place and employers that really see you, not ones that constantly sit around and when you give them an inch, they ask for a foot. When you give them a foot, they ask for a mile. No. You don't need to prove yourself to those people who you will never, ever be good enough for because you are setting yourself up to be on a hamster wheel that never ends. Just keep running and running and running. And they're going to be like, oh, well, we're doing good work. Sure, we're training our good little worker bee. We're disciplining her while actually just keeping you running, going nowhere. Nah. And if you are especially a brown person, an Asian person, a black person, Native American, anything like that, anything minority, marginalized immigrant group, you especially want to avoid authority like that. So yeah, I would say even when you start to realize people's intentions, stay calm, stay nice. Save your sassy little checkmate for last, your little grievance letters for last. I know it's so hard to be patient. It's so hard to keep all this stuff bottled in. It's so hard to not want to smack you in the face when you see them placing those double standards on us. and knowing the position that a lot of Gen Z youth are in, have the audacity to continue sucking the youth and lifeblood out of us. I know. But that's why whatever you're doing now, make sure you're also following some hobbies and passions that you genuinely love on the side. Because one, something could come out of that. Two, don't let any of those authority tell you when you do go do those side hobbies and things that, no, don't do that. You should be more productive. No, 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 no. Do your own thing on the side, please. Three, it's a form of liberation. It's a form of freedom, creative expression. Anywhere you can do it on the side, do it. And even in your career, just try to make things fun. Try not to let the world get you jaded. Try to pursue your career, as effed up as things are in our institutions, with a greater purpose. Like if you're going to be a researcher, a doctor, a lawyer, say, I want to be a researcher, a doctor, a lawyer who contributes to the growing resistance against fascism and bringing these issues to light and fighting for more affordable health care and fighting for my fellow brothers and sisters who know what the struggle is like. The one thing you don't want to do is give up. Give up, and there is one less doctor, lawyer, researcher, teacher who is part of the resistance, because that's what the other side wants. They want to take your money. They want to take your life source. They want to see you be the bad guy. They want to crush you and abuse you and use you with no compensation for you, by the way. And if you do go ask for it, you're going to look like the bad guy, most likely. But actually, as kind of route, I guess, I think often rebellious movements, sometimes they're a bit impulsive and they're just like, I don't want to stereotype rebellious movements because I'm part of it and that's not what I'm trying to do, but oftentimes they're like, quit your job and go join the protests, like, or don't believe in, like, schools are scams now. You can go do a startup, and it's like, I mean, yeah, at the same time, our country, the USA, legitimately needs more good doctors, lawyers, and teachers who can kind of navigate and are well read on these systems of how our systems are really screwing over the most vulnerable compared to us poor youth, which includes the uneducated, poor, vulnerable, the list goes on and on, like children who are way too young to understand any of this, the sick, the suffering, the disabled. We have to continue to fight so we can fight for them and educate them on all the ways that these systems are screwing them over just as much, if not more, than they have tried to screw us over, is my point. So stay in the race, stay in the game. Just don't stay around people or for too long in a place that keeps you running in that loop and only giving you negative reinforcement. And then when the time comes, move to a better place, I suppose, as much as possible. I know, easier said than done, but believe me, I'm in that same boat. So yeah, Be productive, but not in the way the fascists ask for. Peace.